If it's Monday night, oh yes, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Anthony Flair here with you once again for another edition of the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Delighted to have you with us, and we're delighted to be here as always, of course, as we recap another edition of Monday Night Raw, which was live tonight from the First Niagara Center in Buffalo, New York, the home of the NHL's Buffalo Sabres. Members of my NFL team, the Buffalo Bills, were in attendance. We'll get into that later as they were part of an angle during the show. So we'll get into that. Trust me. So with that said, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. We start the show off with John Cena and you know what, fellas? We wanted it. We asked for it. We demanded it. And as the old saying goes, ask and you shall receive, or we shall receive, because it marked the return, boys, of the John Cena United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. And who took the challenge? New Day member Xavier Woods. He took the challenge. But what happened was they had the match, and then unfortunately Big E and Kofi got involved, causing a disqualification. And then out come those damn Dudleys, and the match ended up being restarted as a six-man tag team match. All three members of New Day against John Cena and the Dudley Boys. So it's a 2-for-1 deal, boys. We're gonna get into both matches. So I'll start it off. Michael Bullock and I saw these matches, and I got to be honest. I thought both matches. I'm gonna rate. This is something I normally don't do, but you know what? I felt that both matches, based on the bodies of work, should be rated at least 2 to 2.25 stars on both ends, because they were solid for what they were. I kind of like the Cena and Woods match a little more, to be honest with you. I mean, Michael Bullock. Michael Bullock told me going into this match, and I'll be honest, I had the same feeling that he did. We really didn't think much of this fight because Xavier Woods. Everybody knows Xavier Woods is the weakest member of the New Day based on the body of work. Because Big E is halfway decent. Everybody knows that, considering his run as Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion a couple of years ago. Of course, you all know Kofi is the strongest member based on his body of work. I mean, we all know the countless instant classics he's given us over the years. His 7 years in WWE. I can't believe he's been there that long already, but time flies. But there is a background, of course, with Xavier Woods, and I was telling Michael Bullock this. Now, Michael Fletcher, you and I both know this because we remember Xavier Woods from his days in TNA when he was Consequences Creed as part of the Lethal Consequences tag team with Jay Lethal, and also involved R-Truth, or as he was known in TNA as Ron the Truth Killings. And you know what? They had a solid run, and I believe he was a former co-holder of the TNA World Tag Team Championships. So he's not that bad of a wrestler, and I was telling Bullock that. And as we saw the fight, as the fight was going on, and the match was actually getting good, Bullock was like, you know what? You're absolutely right, Florio. I got to give you that. So yeah, he's not as bad as he's not as he's as halfway decent as you said he was. So I'm like, hey, I told you. I mean, you know my knowledge of professional wrestling, which dates back 20 plus years, as does all of us. So the Cena and Woods match lasted 9 minutes and 20 seconds. The six-man went 6 minutes and 25 seconds. So now that I think about it, I'm going to give the higher rating to the Cena and Woods match. I'm going to give that between 2.25. I'm actually going to give it between 2.25 to 2.5 stars, because you know what? There actually was some good action. There was some good near falls, and some believable near falls, and that's what makes a good match enjoyable for me. As far as the other fight is concerned, I got to give it a solid 2 stars for the effort. As far as the six-man is concerned, and Michael Bullock told me, and he said this, he thinks that because the New Day got over on the Dudleys there in that six-man, he thinks the Dudleys are going to go over in Madison Square Garden, perhaps win the tag team titles. My early projection is that fight's going to end in a screwy finish. Another screwy finish, and that's going to set up the tables match, the long rumored tables match for Hell in a Cell. on October 25. So 9 minutes and 20 seconds was for the first match, Cena and Xavier Woods for the U.S. title. And the six-man went approximately 6 minutes and 25 seconds. So Cena and Woods, I'm going to give it 2.25 to 2.5. Second best fight of the night. And as far as the six-man goes, I'm just going to give it a solid 2 for that effort. So with all that said, I'm going to throw it up now to my partner in crime in the Yes Movement, the one and only Mr. Michael James Bullock. So, Phenom, your thoughts on the six-man, and feel free to reiterate what you told me earlier.
Yes, hello, friend. Yes, thank you very much, Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio. Yes, this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Bullock, here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. Going. Yeah, of course, John Cena cut a little short promo, and then when he brought back the U.S. Open Challenge and said, "You want some? Come get some," and we were all sitting there waiting who was it going to be, and then as soon as you heard that trombone, I'm like, oh no, Xavier Woods. I'm like, yeah, this was not going to be a good match because Xavier Woods, of course, and I do agree he is the weak link of the New Day because, well, the only time he's out there, I mean, the only thing he does is basically interfere in matches. So, but as the match progressed, I mean, and then of course we get into the match, and lo and behold, it turned out to be much better than I expected. Because I really thought it was going to be a snoozer. It wasn't going to be that good, but I thought it was good for what it was. But I'm actually going to give it 2 to 2.25 stars. A much better match than what I expected. I was going to give it 2.5, but it was just that screwy finish with the New Day basically interfering, basically taking a little bit away from it. And then, of course, you had the Dudleys run in and make the save. And then, of course, it turns into a six-man tag team match. And as far as the six-man tag team match goes, I'm going to go somewhere between 1.5 to 2 stars is my rating for the match. I mean, and I do agree, the Xavier Woods John Cena match was better than this one, but still, I thought it was good for what it was, and yeah, of course, when the New Day basically got the pinfall on the Dudleys, I was thinking that maybe they would go over and become tag team champions. Now, come to think of it, I think I have to agree. I think we're going to get some kind of a screwy finish in that tag team title match Saturday night at Madison Square Garden, which of course you can see on the WWE Network, and I think it's going to lead to that rumored tables match for the tag team titles at Hell in a Cell, and then that's when the Dudley Boys will become the tag team champions. So the United States Championship match was 2 to 2.25. The six-man tag team match was 1.5 to 2, in my opinion. So with that being said, Fletcher, I give it to you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You know what? I gotta say, I totally agree with what you guys were saying about. First off, let's go piece by piece. I love John Cena. Love the promo that he did tonight. You know, if you want some, come get some. The whole 9 yards, the whole spiel. I was surprised it was the New Day that actually took the challenge. But then again, when it's the United States Open Challenge, anybody can jump in on that, and it was basically the New Day. And then, honestly, my bet was Kofi Kingston. I thought Kofi was going to take the fight. I thought he was going to go. When I saw Xavier Woods take it, I was a little surprised. But, you know, I agree with you guys. 2.25 stars is the rating for the United States title fight. And then once everything broke down and we ended up with the six-man, I could only give it 1.5 stars. I mean, it was all right. I didn't really like it that much. The ending was a little bit of a surprise, but then again, you want the heels to go get something a little strong here. And at the end of the day, I mean, it kind of felt like, you know, it was more drawn out than it should have been. Let's say that. I thought the U.S. title fight had good pacing. I thought it was decent enough. I actually liked the fact that the referee threw out Kofi and Big E Langston during the fight one match. I wish the fight could have ended in a clean finish, but it didn't. So that's why I gave it 2.25 stars. But then, as far as the 6 man, I thought it was a little more slower than I thought than I liked it, and it is what it is. So I agree with what you guys have said up to this point. So Anthony, let's move on.
Okay. Moving on to our, let's see what we have on our, what's next on our docket here. Backstage stuff, we're not going to worry about that. Well, I think for the first of many times tonight, we're going to get something that we love very much here on the Wrestling Forum, a staple of the Wrestling Forum. The Michael Bullock, I Can't Take It face. Mr. Bullock, I'm sure you're going to get that ready for us momentarily because
he got it.
Because he knows that coming up next, he has to lead off on one of the worst fights of the night, if not the worst fight of the night. A match that he and I were dreading because he told me this match was going to take place when we had our pre-Raw chat. He told me about this. He was like, oh, Floyd, it's going to be the Big Show against Mark Henry. And I told him that. I was like, are you kidding me? In my head, there was a voice in my head that told me. It sounded like The Rock, oh, by the way, that voice. You know what that voice said? This fight's gonna absolutely suck. And that's exactly what it did. Big Show one-on-one with the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Yeah, needless to say, it was nothing like those halfway decent matches they were having 4 years ago, by the way, when they had that halfway decent feud. Winner of the match in a Shakespearean drama, 2 minutes and 40, in a Shakespearean drama-laden 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It was the world's largest athlete. It was the Big Show. So, Michael Bullock, as soon as you get out of your I Can't Take It face, the luck of the draw, unfortunately, it bites you in the you know what. So, I already know what you think about the fight. As I think we're all going to be in agreement on this. So,
I don't envy you.
You know what?
Bullock.
You know what? I'm going to do something special here. We're all going to be in agreement on how we feel about this fight. So, on the count of three, gentlemen, you know what we got to do on this one. 1, 2, 3. D-U-D.
D-U-D. Dud.
Absolute dud. Worst fight of the night. You know what, Michael Bullock? I'm not even gonna subject you to that. So
there's no need.
Pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, and frickin' borderline reprehensible.
The only reason why this fight happened was because they want to give the Big Show a strong moment as he's going into Madison Square Garden against Brock Lesnar this Saturday night in MSG. That's the only reason why this fight happened. Other than that, there's no reason why this should have gone down.
Absolutely. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand WWE wants to push Big Show going into his match, but really, you could have gone any other way, but you had to give us a slow, boring big man fight. Give me a fucking break, man. Fucking break.
If I was a booker for WWE, and I know you guys would have gone nuts about this, but why not a handicap fight? Bring two jobbers, bring two guys, local guys, and let them go after the Big Show. Show dominance.
Okay, so yeah, Michael Bullock. I mean, normally I just say you lead off and do all this good stuff, but you know what? We're not going to waste our time on it. We're all in agreement.
Yeah,
it was an absolute dud.
Get the you know what out with that shit.
Amen to that, Bullock.
And to WWE, as Michael Wilbon would always say, get out.
Yeah, get out with that junk. So that's all there is to say.
Yeah, they could take their dud enhancement matches and stick it right up their asses.
Well, unfortunately, that's not going to be the only one. Unfortunately, there will be some more.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, folks, there are going to be some more dud enhancement matches on this edition of Monday Night
So
Raw.
you'll be getting more of the Michael Bullock I can't take it face.
Well, you're not gonna need it for this one, Michael Bullock, I'm afraid, because up next, this was actually something we were looking forward to. When you told me this was going down, I'm like, okay, yeah, this could be good. It was a Miz TV. Miz TV, his special guest, Divas champion Charlotte and Becky Lynch. It would go on to be interrupted not only by Team Bella, but also by Paige as well. And one thing led to another, and all that good stuff went down. So, and then it would also lead in to a six diva tag team match. Well, I guess we could say, for a brief moment, briefly reunited Team PCB against Team Bella. And the winners of the match in 6 minutes and 55 seconds, it was Team Bella, to the surprise of no one. So another 2-for-1 here, Michael Bullock. And this time I'm going to start it with you now because we all were in agreement on that Big Show and Henry mess. So Michael Bullock, now you're going to lead off this time. So your thoughts on Miz TV and the Six Diva tag altogether.
All right. Yeah. I mean, to me, I'll say it. I thought this was the segment of the night, and I mean, basically, Miz being that typical heel guy, basically saying, I mean, basically Miz is like telling them thanks for coming on, especially after the last time they were on the show where they got decimated by Team Bella, and Becky basically comes out and says, well, let's just say there's a reason why she's a fiery redhead. She basically said, you know what, the last time we were here, you were a sexist jackass. And then Miz, I think the fans want to know what's going on between the two of you and Paige. And then she's like, and then Charlotte basically is like, you know what? Why don't we have Paige come down here and explain herself? And then Miz is like, you know what? This is my show. You do not invite guests on the show. And then Becky basically grabs the mic and throws it away. So once again, they call him out. They call Paige out, and then all of a sudden, here come the Bella twins, or Team Bella, or as me and Florio like to call them, the Bella snobs. And then Nikki's like, you know what? We don't party with losers. We say thank you because the three of you are acting like a bunch of high school girls while we are here. We are united. And then Nikki's like, you know what? I do want my rematch. And then this is basically, and then Charlotte basically is like, you know what? This isn't about you. But since you want to make it about you, why don't you come in the ring and I'll make you tap out again. And Nikki Bella has to go and say, as long as you have the title, it'll always be about me. And your reign is going to end. And then there's one thing. And then basically there are a lot of things Paige said last week that she agreed with. And then one thing that she does disagree with is that Paige started the revolution. And Nikki says that she was the one who started the revolution. And then, well, let's just say I disagree with Nikki on that. It was Paige who started it. And then Charlotte says, this isn't about the divas. It's about the people sitting in the seats, believing in them. And then Alicia's like, you know what? 3 is greater than 2. And Becky's like, oh, congratulations on being able to count. And then here comes Paige is like, you know what? Charlotte and Becky, you wouldn't be on television if it wasn't for me. I was the one who put NXT on the map by becoming the first ever NXT Women's Champion. And if it weren't for me, people wouldn't know who the hell you are, Becky, and Charlotte wouldn't be champion. And then Paige is like, and then Nikki's like, oh, why are you talking like this, Paige? If they have friends like Paige, who really needs enemies? And then Paige is like, and then this is where she really went there. She said, yeah, and you have 2 boyfriends like you. Who really needs ambition? and then we get an all-out brawl when it comes to that, and then we have a tag team match. What was the time of it again, Florio?
6 minutes and 55 seconds.
All right, I'm gonna give it about another 1.5 to 2 stars on the fight here. I thought the match was good for what it was. The action was good between these ladies, and then all of a sudden, just when it looked like Charlotte was gonna get ready to go for the figure eight, and then Nikki basically knocked Charlotte away, shoving Paige in the apron, and then Paige was like, "You know what? I'm done with this BS. I'm taking my ball and going home." But then it's just as she's ready to leave, Natalya basically comes out and is like, "What the hell are you doing?" So it looks like Natalya was coming over to come in and to take Paige's spot, and then Paige basically pulls her leg, and then her head hits the apron hard. So, and then Charlotte gets hit with a rack attack, and Team Bella gets the win. So, yeah. I mean, this whole thing with Paige, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Natalya is far from over, and at some point we're going to get a match, and well, we're going to get Paige versus Natalya at some point. Maybe sometime, maybe on SmackDown, maybe next week on Raw. And then, of course, when it comes to the Divas Championship, I'm thinking maybe we're going to get because I've been hearing rumors about a triple threat match with Paige versus Charlotte versus Nikki Bella. So we'll have to wait and see how all that goes. But I believe that's what's going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. So the Miz TV segment was the segment of the night. The 6 Diva tag match was 1.5 to 2 stars in my opinion. So that's all I can say. So I give it to you.
Man, there's a lot of variables that needs to be recovered in this one, but I will say this. I did think that the segment itself was absolutely amazing, no doubt about it. I loved the way that they played out the Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Paige, and the disintegration of the Team PCB, but also the Bellas and Alicia Fox, and how it was all about the Divas division. And when we talk about the Diva Revolution, yeah, I mean, there's some people who is like, oh, this is what started it. This is what started it. At a point in this game, does it really matter who really started this Diva Revolution? Not in my eyes. I don't really care. As long as you deliver us good quality fights, that's all that matters. I mean, the days of the whole home diva fight is no longer needed, no longer wanted, and we were basically lapping through that for a number of months, for at least about a couple of years, and then if you really think about it, it was really Stephanie McMahon who said, we're going to shake things up in this division. We're going to get some new talent, some better competition, and people that are going to be, worthy enough of being in the game. And that's when Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte came into the fold. And I will say this, I think very, very soon we're gonna see Bayley. And when we do, they are really gonna see the Diva division fly in WWE. So it's only a matter of time. At the end of the day, does it really matter who does what or what they did? No, who cares? Just give us some good quality fights and we'll be happy. But at the end of the day, I would say I was somewhat disappointed, not completely, but somewhat with the fight. I thought it could have been a little better. I can only give it maybe 2 stars. But other than that, I got nothing else to say. I thought it was a solid fight, but other than that, that's it. Anthony, it's yours. Segment of the night, it was Miz TV, but the fight itself, probably at least third best fight of the night.
What was your rating?
I said about 2 stars.
Yeah, I think Yeah, I'm going to meet you guys in the middle. I'll say it was about 1.5 to 2 on my end as well. And solid six diva tag match. And then all hell breaks loose like we all knew it would. Beginning of the end came when Becky Lynch made the hot tag to Charlotte, and I pointed this out to Michael Bullock when we were doing the match. Did you see the look? Did you see the expression on Paige's face? Like, really? Yeah, you saw the look on Paige's face. That told the whole story. You knew we were going to get a screwy finish at that point, and that's exactly what happened here. And lo and behold, Paige leaves. Natalya tries to take her place, but then all of a sudden, Paige scoops the leg out from under her. She falls face first onto the apron, and then Nikki Bella nails Charlotte with a rack attack and gets the 1-2-3. So obviously, this puts Nikki Bella right back into #1 contender status for the Divas Championship. The plan I'm hearing right now, according to several dirt sheets I've read over the last few days, is for the Divas title to be defended in a triple threat at Hell in a Cell, with Charlotte defending against both Nikki Bella and Paige. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. My guess is that's exactly what's going to happen. We're probably going to get a three-way at Hell in a Cell in Los Angeles next month. So that's all I can say on that. So it's a 1.5 to 2. I definitely agree on that. So
and Floria, there's one more thing I want to make when it comes to old Paige's things. I mean, there's some things I do agree with, but there are other things I do disagree with. But I mean, the thing is, she started the revolution, and now she's basically ripping it. I mean, especially Natalya. I mean, I can only imagine what the Hart family must think about the whole thing.
Yes, of course. I mean,
especially her father.
Yes, her father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, her uncle, Bret the Hitman Hart.
But if you really think about it this way, let's call apples to oranges on this. Yeah, Paige is ripping on the division, but this is what people's been saying for a number of years. I mean, she's just voicing the displeasure of what the IWC has been saying the whole time. I mean, what was the knock about the Bella Twins? Because of who they were dating or who they were sleeping with. Paige? I mean, what about Becky Lynch? We haven't really seen much from her. I mean, she's just a new product that's coming into WWE. Charlotte, the biggest knock was she's Ric Flair's daughter, and now she ascended all the way up to the title? So, I mean, I understand where Paige is griping, but she's saying the voice of what the IWC would be saying at this point in the game. Let's say it like that. Fair or unfair? That's where she's coming from.
Yeah, but the one thing I didn't like was when she took a shot at Ric Flair. I mean, that's what really hit me hard, and like, oh, she went way too far with this.
I agree with that. It was a dirty hit. It was a low blow. I'm not going to disagree with that. But I mean, that's sometimes in a heel, when you're acting like a heel, when you're working that heel character, sometimes you gotta go there and you gotta go below the belt. If you gotta go personal, that's what heel players does. And I love Paige's new attitude. I love her new heel turn. I think this will do wonders for her career. I love it.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this new heel character, because the thing is, from the beginning, I mean, when she first arrived, she was basically a baby face, and then when AJ Lee came back, she was a heel, and then they bring her back to a baby face, and now it looks like she's a heel again. So the question is, how long will this heel thing last? That's the only question I got.
Okay, so nothing. I guess there's really nothing left to say on that. So we're just going to move on to our next match, which Michael Fletcher will start us off on. It was a tag team match. It was the primetime players, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. And Fletch and Bullock, you're thinking, oh, maybe we're going to have a chance to do our millions of dollars celebration. Well, you might want to cancel those plans of celebration because they had to go up against Luke Harper and Braun Strowman. Yeah. Winners of the match in 4 minutes and 20 seconds, it was Luke Harper and Braun Strowman, as Braun Strowman, well, basically squeezed the life out of Titus O'Neil. So that's why you didn't hear any of his annoying barking tonight. So with that said, Michael Fletcher, Harper and Strowman, how do they look to you tonight?
They looked absolutely phenomenal, man. I mean, these guys are tag team champions in the making. Yes, I'm saying it. I think in 2016, you're looking at the future WWE World Tag Team Champions. They are phenomenal. They're big. They're monstrous. Strowman is a beast in the ring. And think about this. Go figure. A happy-go-lucky guy that was actually a member of the Adam Rose Rosebud Party is now one of the most vicious big men in WWE. Seen that a lot. So I gotta say, the fight maybe half a star to near dud status just for the effort, but the team itself is really good. And I love the fact that they kind of revamped it or brought back the Wyatts in this way because now you got a legitimate force to be reckoned with. Because I think Luke Harper alone was good and he did very well, but you need to maturate Braun Strowman. And I think this was the best way to do it. Bring him in with a proven guy, a good tag team wrestler like Luke Harper, bring that aura of the Wyatt family, and get that black sheep and all that stuff. The gimmick is working, and this guy, like I said, is a terror in WWE, and he's going to be a major player for years to come. If they book this correctly and let these guys go up the ladder, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, either by the end of this year or definitely in 2016, Braun Strowman and Luke Harper will become WWE World Tag Team Champions. Guarantee it. Anthony, it's yours.
I'm actually going to give the fight 1 star for the effort. I mean, I thought there was some all right action in there, but yeah, you knew this was a foregone conclusion. You knew that Harper and Strowman were going over, and hey, a big win for them. Going over the former tag team champions as of a couple of months ago. I mean, yeah, that's huge right there for them. I mean, anytime you can get a win like that, I mean, that's huge. So, and yes, I continue to be very high up on the body of work of Braun Strowman. I mean, the man's a beast. He's a monster. He's a freak, and he just continues to get better and better. And now you know why I've been so high on the guy. So, and I definitely agree with Michael Fletcher's sentiment there. Either by the end of this year or sometime next year, I think definitely Braun Strowman and Luke Harper are future WWE Tag Team Champions. There's no question about it. So I'm going to give this 1 star for the effort because I really honestly thought the action was not all that bad, even though it was a bit of a showcase for Harper and Strowman. So, man, I can honestly say I'm continuing to love Braun Strowman more and more with each passing week. Loving this guy, loving him. So with that said, Michael Bullock, do you agree with Michael Fletcher and I's sentiments or what?
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm going to say about. I'm going to go half to 1 star for my rating on the match. I mean, I thought the match was. I thought there was some alright action here, but man, oh man, this Braun Strowman guy is a freak, and I mean, yeah, I mean, you thought the first combo of the Wyatt family when Eric Rowan was there was good, but this makes it even better with Luke Harper and Braun Strowman, and I do agree somewhere down the line, either late this year or sometime next year, they're going to get their shot at the tag team titles, and I think they will be the tag team champions. And I just like Braun Strowman's body of work, and you saw what he did to Titus O'Neil. I mean, he's a little bit of a big guy himself, and when he put that submission hold, he basically, I mean, he tossed him like a rag doll. So, I mean, that's how impressive I continue to be. And but let's just say, and of course, Florio and Fletcher, I know you probably already know this, but I think I'm going to remind everyone. They're going to have themselves a little bit of a challenge because when WWE goes on their tour of Mexico in October, they're going to be up for a huge challenge. They're going to be going up against, well, teaming for the first time in 2 years. It'll be the Brothers of Destruction, the Demon Kane and his brother, the Phenom, the Undertaker. I mean, man, could you imagine if they had broadcast that on the WWE network? That'd be something worth watching. And the only thing is, how would the Undertaker and Kane attack Braun Strowman? But man, I mean, hopefully there'll be some pictures or some YouTube videos from there. But we'll have to wait and see. So with that being said, half to 1 star, but I'm really high too on Braun Strowman and Luke Harper. So with that being said, Florio, I say we move on.
And we move on to our next match, which was a one-on-one match. It was Stardust going one-on-one with Adrian Neville, and well, the fight ends it actually is. It counts as a disqualification victory for Adrian Neville in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. But wait, that's not all, because boys, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
All hail King Barrett!
All hail King Barrett!
That's right, folks. King Barrett, the Barrett Bros, is back in World Wrestling Entertainment. After last time we saw him, well, he got laid out by Stardust on Raw the night after SummerSlam. So he's been gone filming a movie, I believe, in his native of England. So he's back, and well, as one of our all-time favorite announcers, Mr. Jim Ross would always say, business has indeed picked up. So the match is in NA, obviously, because it never really got off the ground. Barrett gets involved. Great to have Barrett back. And I'm just hoping that this time that they push him more seriously. I mean, I'm not saying put the championship of the world on him by any means, but I want to see bigger and better things for him. I really do, because he's a guy who deserves so much. I mean, right? And Fletcher and myself, two of us, myself and Michael Fletcher, no two guys have been more critical of WWE's booking and handling of Mr. Barrett than us. It dates back all the way back to the King of the Ring event when Barrett won that, and I told Fletch I was worried that they were going to still bury him, even though they put the King of the Ring on him, and sure enough, sure as shooting, I was right. I wanted to be wrong on that. I really, really did. So, but nonetheless, Barrett is back. Hopefully this will be the start of bigger and better things. Now that he's fulfilled his film commitment. So there you go. NA, another one of the worst fights of the night. So Michael Bullock, I know you're going to say the fight's in NA, but your thoughts on the return your thoughts on the match, briefly, and also the return of King Barrett.
Yeah, the match was definitely in NA, and yeah, I mean, it was over before it basically got started, and of course, all because of the return of King Barrett. All hail King Barrett! And he brought the bullhammer, basically laying out both Neville and basically leveling out Stardust as well. So, of course, last time he hasn't forgotten when Stardust basically laid waste to him. So, yeah, and I'm hoping now that with the return of King Barrett, hopefully he'll be booked properly this time around because he's a good wrestler and he needs. I mean, they need to make him look better. I mean, because we all thought with the King of the Ring, we thought he was going to get some kind of a push, but yeah, that hasn't even happened at all. So I'm hoping they really book him better. So basically, match was in NA, but it's good to see King Barrett back. And for those who were hoping they would never see King Barrett again, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Fletcher, it's yours.
NA for the fight, no doubt about it. Good to see King Barrett back. I could see a triple threat coming out of this between Neville, Stardust, and Barrett. You know, Barrett's definitely got a little bit of some anger inside of him because of the fact of what happened to him last night. Well, I shouldn't say last night, but a few months ago, the night after SummerSlam, where he basically got jumped out of nowhere, getting ready for, I guess, a tag team fight, and he absolutely gets destroyed by Stardust. And you know the rivalry that they had, Stardust, Barrett, and Stardust, Barrett, Neville, and Stephen Amell that led to the SummerSlam fight, and we all know how that turned out. So I mean, at the end of the day, you got to deal with what you got, and hopefully they'll straighten this out. But I believe this will be a triple threat fight. NA for the fight, but good to see Barrett as long as they book him correctly. And actually, there was even some talk about maybe them doing a bringing the Bad News Barrett gimmick back. If that's the case, now I'm really excited with that. So we'll see what happens. But NA for the fight. So let's move on.
Okay. Next up, well, it was the evaluation of Corporate Kane. Corporate Kane, of course, was in the ring with this beautiful young lady by the name of Ashley, who was representing the Human Resources Department. And as she was about to give her performance evaluation of Kane, out comes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins to do what he always does. Go on, cut out kind of one of his smarky heel promos, which I got to say have been getting better, and this one was no exception. And, it shows a video of, Kane's past transgressions, as the Monster Kane, and then Ashley goes on to basically, give her review and all that. So, let me see. I believe Michael Bullock leads off on this segment. Am I correct on that?
That is correct.
All right. Your thoughts on this segment, Michael Bullock, as a whole?
All right. Well, basically, I thought this was a fine segment. Basically, Ashley was basically getting ready to give her report to Kane about Kane, and then all of a sudden, Seth Rollins comes out and says, "You know what? You shouldn't read a thing on that biased, one-sided report. And I'm going to tell you that Kane is not the man that he presents himself to be. Kane has the soul of a demon from the depths of hell, and that you cannot, under good conscience, keep Kane around as the director of operations. And if you do that, the carnage that will follow is going to be on your hands, Ashley." And basically brings up what happened last week when Kane came up through the ring, and the Demon Kane basically came up through the ring and tried to drag Seth Rollins to hell. And then Kane basically played the role of being befuddled, and Seth then says that people like him do not go to hell. I'm going to heaven. And then basically Kane says that Seth is a passionate man, but this is all in good fun, and shows a package too of Seth basically berating him. And then Ashley reads the report. She says, "I come to the determination that Kane is sound of mind and is more than capable of fulfilling his duties as director of operations. Kane is professional, kind, helpful, and thoughtful. Kane is the perfect WWE employee." And then Seth basically loses it and He says, I don't believe it. And then basically asks, do you know how to do your job? And in her report, she claims that if anyone needs to be evaluated, it's Seth Rollins. He is rude, petty, narcissistic, and paranoid. He is the most unprofessional person she has met during her time in WWE, so she must not work directly with Vince. And then Seth goes on a tirade and is like, this is a travesty of justice. I'm the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And then he basically gets right into Kane's face, screaming at him, and Kane drops the mic, and then just when it looks like Kane was going to pick up the title and give it to him, Seth Rollins, it's Kane with the pedigree, and he continues to scream at him, and then he grabs a chair, and then basically hits him with the chair, and then all of a sudden he takes the chair and basically shatters the ankle of Kane, and then Seth grabs the mic and starts mocking Kane and starts as they're wheeling him away in the stretcher, and then just as they put him into the ambulance, the ambulance just when it looked like it was leaving, it stopped, and then all of a sudden there's a red light coming from there. We were like, oh shoot, this is not going to be good. And then Kane comes out, but not as the corporate Kane, but as Demon Kane. He basically starts limping, and then all of a sudden he stomps his foot and basically starts walking out. The fire explodes, and then Seth Rollins basically starts attacking the leg with the chair again, and then Kane basically all of a sudden is not affected by it, and then he starts the beatdown, and then choke slams Seth Rollins straight to hell. And then all of a sudden it looks like he's going for the tombstone, but Seth Rollins basically, he runs away like a scalded dog, and Kane all of a sudden holds up the title as the pyro goes off again. So, yeah, so of course, I mean, judging by that, we're definitely going to get Demon Kane versus Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Hell in a Cell. So who knows when it's going to be official? Maybe it could be during the SmackDown spoilers tomorrow night, or maybe next week on Raw, or maybe during the live MSG event, but on Saturday. But we'll have to wait and see. But we know what's going to happen. So I thought this was a good segment. So with that being said, Fletcher, I give it to you.
Yeah, this was a solid segment, to say the very least. Demon Kane is back. He shows up after getting basically beaten down and injured. But for what it was worth, it was definitely a solid segment. Nothing bad to say about it whatsoever. And hey, I mean, it was definitely looking good for the most part. But I'll say this. Oh my goodness. Look out. Kane is back, and he's looking for the World Heavyweight title. Rollins was trying to manipulate and try to say, that Kane's unfit, that he doesn't deserve to be the director of operations, and it looks like that's what they were trying to do with with Stephanie and Triple H, as they were trying to kind of, in a way, try to negotiate and say, hey, if you really look at Triple H, he really was like arguing with Stephanie about how to handle this, and he didn't really want to go down this HR route and this and that. But Stephanie was kind of like, in the spirit of professionalism, she's going to be evaluating everything that you're going to be doing tonight, Kane. So, you got to do your job, do whatever you got to do. And later in the night, you will, sure enough, find out, where you stand in the company. And the next thing you know is, I mean, wow, look what happened. So at the end of the day, Kane obviously gets I'll say it like this. Kane actually gets the award or gets the stamp of approval, and yeah, you move on from there. But now, look out! Here comes the next big thing, and that's now Kane gonna be going after Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So we'll see what happens. Whatever the case may be, it's game time. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Before I give you my thoughts on the segment, fellas, I just came across a dirt sheet, and I actually have the identity of the young lady who we saw tonight, the human resources representative. And,
Local girl?
Well, here's the dirt sheet I found. It said they got several emails about this, so for those that asked, Human Resources Representative Ashley on Monday Night Raw, believe it or not, fellas, is not an independent wrestler or an actress. Her actual name is Ashley Osterreiter, and she actually does work as the director of Human Resources at WWE headquarters. She has been working with the company since 2013.
Wow.
Yeah, she's been with the company since 2013. She is a graduate of Florida State University. I heard they were pretty good. With a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship and small business management. She is well liked by everyone in the company, so it's not surprising to see her get some TV time. They do not know if there are plans to incorporate her into any future WWE storylines going forward. So the $1 million question has been answered. She is not a wrestler. She's not even an actress. She actually works for World Wrestling Entertainment. She actually is their director of human resources. Wow.
So she's true HR.
Yes, true HR.
True HR.
True HR.
Good job, WWE. Well done, fellas.
Yeah, how about that, huh? So how's that for investigative reporting? So that's all I can say on that. So she's been there for a couple of years. She's obviously in very good standing, and yeah, beautiful girl too. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing more of her on my TV. Absolutely not. I mean, I thought she held her own really good. So well done. So to me, I know Michael Bullock said he liked the Miz TV segment and all that, but I kind of got to say this was the segment of the night, to be honest with you, from my end, because Seth Rollins made the segment fun. I mean, I loved how nuts he went, and I loved his. I love how he, did that smarky heel thing. I mean, I gotta tell you, his promos have been getting better. I think it pretty much turned the corner when I went to the SmackDown last month in Providence. I mean, because that promo he cut was really good, and I think since then his promos have been getting a lot better. And yeah, this one tonight was a really good one. And and then Kane was great too, and then Miss Ashley there. So yeah, I mean, it was a win-win all around. I thought everybody came off great. So well done. Indeed, this was to me the segment of the night. So yeah. So with that said, we're just gonna move on here to let's see, what's the next match here? Well, all I can say is like this. Michael Fletcher will be leading off next. Fletch, do that Viper thing I like one time, because it was your boy. There he is. Yes, Michael Fletcher's boy, the Viper, Randy Orton.
Yeah, there it is.
Michael Fletcher's boy, the Viper, Randy Orton, goes one-on-one with the inspirational Bo Dallas. And I told you that my Buffalo Bills were going to be used during an angle, and here's where they were used. They were used during this match because Bo Dallas basically ripped them like everybody else does. So there you go. Orton and Dallas is the match. The winner of the match in 1 minute and 55 seconds. It was the Viper. It was Randy Orton. It was an Orton. It was a Viper Berry job. RKO. See ya. Michael Fletcher. It's only fitting that our resident Cerebral Viper and resident Randy Orton mark starts us off on yet another dud enhancement fight. So it's all yours, Fletcher.
Yeah, unfortunately it was a dud enhancement fight, but Randy Orton made some waves earlier in the evening during the backstage segment where they were like, you know what? I'm not sure if we should bring outsiders into our fold to do whatever we got to do to handle the Wyatts. And Orton kind of fired the salvo at Dean Ambrose. He's like, "You're calling me an outsider? Don't you know you guys were crying for my help not too long ago?" So Roman had to cool things down, and he's like, "Look." Orton basically gave the ultimatum. He's like, "If you don't get the job done by the end of the night tonight, it's open hunting season on the Wyatts. You know what that means. You could keep the Viper down for a little bit, but there's only a moment where a Viper's gonna strike, and when it does, you're gonna get hurt." Next thing, basically, Bo Dallas had to come out, talk some smack about the Buffalo Bills. I mean, okay, I get it. The Buffalo Bills hasn't gone back to the Super Bowl since like 1994. And, there's been years and years and years of losing seasons, and they haven't been that great. And on top of that, making 4 straight Super Bowls, but never winning the big one. I get it. I mean, easy rip job. But, Bo, yes, ripping on the Buffalo Bills after what they did yesterday and the record they got right now, wrong time to be starting to pick a fight with the Buffalo Bills. If anything, I would have picked the fight 1 week ago when they lost to the New England Patriots. But I'm not jumping that. I'm not going there. So, what does Randy Orton do? Like a methodical Viper does. He just plays with his little bait for a little bit, takes a little time, get to enjoy the scenery, enjoy the nice weather the nice weather, and the next thing you know, RKO. Thanks for coming. And by the way, I've always believed in your talent, Bo. Yeah, right. Viper all day. Legend killer. Strikes again, man. Doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, the fight was a dud. I don't give a damn. Randy Orton victory. That sounds pretty sweet to me. Florio, it's all yours.
Yeah, another absolute dud. This actually is the worst fight of the night for me. I mean, it is definitely between this one and the Big Show and Henry. I mean, those were both showcases. This was a showcase for a great use of my Buffalo Bills. I mean, Fletch made a great point. I mean, Buffalo 2-1 on the season. Everybody knows that, and they've been playing. I mean, the way they're playing right now is just. I mean, I actually have hope as a Bills fan, but I'll get more into that, on future editions of NFL Saturday and whatnot. If this should keep up, which I'm praying to God it does. But nonetheless, it is an absolute dud. Orton, like I said, it was a Viper Berry job, squashing Bo Dallas in 2 minutes and beating him up in front of the Bills players who were there. And after Bo had those derogatory statements to make about them and everything else, so. Yeah, that was a personal highlight for me. Just like seeing Randy Orton go over was a personal highlight for Fletcher. So yeah, an absolute dud, and I still think it's going to be Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose going up against the Wyatts at Hell in a Cell in a 6-man. I still think that's the plan going forward for me. So with that said, absolute dud, worst fight of the night, Viper Berry job, much to the delight of Mike Fletcher. So. Michael Bullock, I already know how you're going to feel about it, but just elaborate anyway.
Yeah, this was an absolute dud, an absolute squash of Bo Dallas by Randy Orton, and basically, Randy Orton, they wanted to make him look good, and eventually it's going to be him, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose against the Wyatts. I think maybe it's going to happen at Hell in a Cell, but we'll wait and see what happens. But you guys pretty much touched on everything, so I say we just move on.
All right. Let's see. Up next, well, we were supposed to have a match with Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Kevin Owens going one-on-one with Rusev, rather, with the beautiful Summer Rae by his side as always. Ryback was sitting in on commentary. The winner, well, the match ended in a no contest in 45 seconds. Yeah, okay. This is an NA, another NA here. Very disappointing. I mean, I really wanted to see these two go at it. To be honest with you, I think these two could have put up. I mean, honestly, going into this fight, I was honestly expecting it to be a man fight. You know how much we love man fights here, all of us. None more so than Michael Fletcher, because he's the very epitome of the words "be a man" fight, because he loves those more than any of us do. But nonetheless, well, Owens was the one who instigated all of this, because he throws Ryback. I mean, he throws Rusev into Ryback, rather, and then Ryback proceeds to go after Rusev, and then all of a sudden Owens comes in, and then Owens and Rusev double team Ryback, and then out comes Dolph Ziggler, and Ziggler and Ryback pretty much get the upper hand. So, well, we could be headed towards another tag team match on a SmackDown, but if I'm going to be honest with you, I think we're looking at a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at Hell in a Cell. I think it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Ryback versus Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. Four-way. Fatal four-way at Hell in a Cell. I think that's they're I think that's what they're trying to make us believe going into Hell in a Cell. At least that's what I think. So for me, it's another NA. It's another one of the worst fights of the night, if not the worst fight of the night here. I mean, you can make an argument because there were so many dud enhancement, NA fights tonight. So you really have to figure. We can't really put a dime on which one was honestly the worst. So a 45-second no contest. Yeah, that's going to put some butts in the seats and some eyes on the screens. Yeah, right. So, well, that's all there is to say on that. So, very disappointing, a colossal disappointment, because I really wanted to see Owens and Rusev. That could have been an awesome fight. Not only an awesome fight, but a be a man fight as well. That thing could have been smash mouth, physical. That thing would have been awesome. That could have been 3 to 3.5 easy, but no. They had to pull out the rug from under us and give us a 45-second no contest. Really? Really? Michael Bullock, how do you follow that?
Yeah, this is, oh man, this was very disappointed. NA for me. Yeah, when I heard of this match, I was saying like this. I was like, this was gonna be a man fight, and it ends in 45 seconds like that. Come on, WWE. I mean, I expected this to be a really good fight. When you pull the rug out from under us like that, give me a fucking break, will you? Give me a fucking break. I mean, we expect a good fight, and you want to give this shittiness to us, please. This is why their ratings were bad last week, and I wouldn't be surprised after this that the ratings continue to go down. And this is why people want to tune in and watch Monday Night Football or anything else that's going on TV right now, because WWE is giving us piss poor matches that's gonna leave a bad taste in our mouth. 45 seconds for a match like this? You really think something like that's going to put some butts in the seats and eyes on the screen? It'll put some butts in the seats, all right. The toilet seats, all right. Ayo! So, yeah, WWE, you need to wake the F up and give us quality matches like you gave us during the summertime. You're not supposed to, give in and give us only, a 45-second match like that. So to WWE, in the immoral words of Ren and Stimpy, you idiots! Drops the mic and walks out. Fletcher, it's yours. I'm done with this nonsense.
Huh. Yeah, it was definitely a dud. It was definitely the worst fight of the night. 45 seconds, guys. I mean, deplorable, disgusting is the words that I would say about it. Definitely a letdown, definitely disappointment. There's nothing more to say. Florio, go.
All right. Let's see what's next on our docket here. Um, well, we had ourselves an in-ring segment. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman was in the ring cutting a promo about the upcoming match with his client Brock Lesnar going up against the Big Show Saturday night at Madison Square Garden. Interrupted, of course, by the Big Show. So I think it's I do believe Michael Bullock starts us off on this. So
Yeah.
Michael Bullock, your favorite, your man, Mr. Paul Heyman. His name is Paul Heyman. He was interrupted by the Big Show. Your thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, I thought this was a good segment. Of course, basically, Paul Heyman talking about his client Brock Lesnar going up against the Big Show and basically saying, Big Show, be careful because you're going to be on your way to Suplex City. And then out comes the Big Show basically starting to talk smack as well, saying basically it's going to be eat, sleep, beat Brock Lesnar, repeat, or basically knock him out. So, yeah, the Big Show was really fiery during this whole segment, and Paul Heyman basically had nothing more to say. He just walked out afterwards, and Big Show continued to mouth off. So, man, this was a real good segment here, and definitely adds a little bit into this Big Show Brock Lesnar match that's going to happen Saturday night on the WWE Network. So, we'll wait and see how the match actually goes. So, I thought this was a good segment, so Fletcher, I give it to you.
Anytime our good friend Paul Heyman shows up, get the popcorn ready, get a beverage. It doesn't matter if it's an alcoholic drink, a non-alcoholic drink, whatever the case may be, get ready to be entertained. And once again, Paul Heyman does. He entertains the fans, does a good job with it, makes it very strong, compelling argument, and then at the end, he finishes it off pretty good. And then, yeah, we did get the surprise or the Big Show coming out and doing whatever he needs to do, promoting the fight. Nicely done. I like it. Nothing bad to say. Gentlemen, let's move on. Anthony, it's yours. I thought it was a solid segment.
Well, for me, it was another one of the segments of the night because although Paul Heyman was in the ring, that's an automatic right there. So yeah, I gotta say this was the second best segment of the night. I gotta say the Miz TV segment was the third best. I mean, Heyman was awesome as always, and then Big Show. I mean, I thought he did a very good job with the heel promo there. So yeah, this is a no-brainer here. So this was to me the second best segment of the night. I thought the Rollins, Kane, and Ashley segment was the best segment of the night for me. So yeah, let's see. And now the main event time, boys. It was Roman Reigns one-on-one with Bray Wyatt. The match ends in a double countout at 13 minutes and 10 seconds, and then a major brouhaha surfaces after the fight. So a major brawl afterwards. So definitely a Be a Man fight, and when it comes to Be a Man fights, there's nobody better to lead off on a Be a Man fight than our own Mr. Michael Fletcher. So Fletch, I know this was a Be a Man fight in your eyes, but how did you honestly feel about this main event tonight?
Fletch. Fletcher?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Yeah, it certainly is.
I don't know if he's probably on the phone right now or.
He could be. I don't know. But Yeah, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt at 13 minutes and 10 seconds was the. It ends in a double count out. I'll say it like this though. I'll just take it. Um, to me, this was the fight of the night. Far and away the fight of the night. About 2.5 to 3 stars is the best I can give it because we had that double count out finish. But then that brawl though, the post match brawl was just absolutely phenomenal, and they were brawling all over the place. And then Roman Reigns spearing Bray Wyatt through a table, giving us an "oh my god" moment. I mean, just absolutely incredible. I mean, and the fans and Michael Bullock, much to our delight, the yes chants were back. They were doing the yes chant. How freaking awesome was that? That was great. I mean, seeing that Michael Bullock and I are the advocates for the yes movement, especially here in Rhode Island. But boy, howdy! I mean, what a very strong way to close what was, in my eyes, another ho hum, meh, average, and mediocre edition of Monday Night Raw. And I cannot believe, after we got spoiled by consistently great episodes, mostly during the summertime, another average and mediocre show. And here I thought Vince McMahon put the fear of God into the creative team. Well, clearly he didn't put enough of a fear of God into him. What does he have to do? Put the fear of Satan into you people? Oh, good grief. So that's all there is to say on that. The fight was the fight of the night, far and away. 2.5 to 3 stars is the best I can give it. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the main event?
All right. Yeah. I thought this was the fight of the night as well. 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating for the fight. Yeah. I thought the match was good for what it was. It's just that double countout finish really took away from it. But we did have that little brawl at the end. The brawl was still going on after the match, and basically, Bray Wyatt crashed into Roman Reigns through that wall, and then of course we had the Roman Reigns spear onto the announce table. So yeah, so the match was good, 2.5 to 3 stars, and it concluded what I thought was a horrible edition of Monday Night Raw, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So Fletcher, I hope you're ready. I'll give it to you.
I am ready. I'm gonna take it, and yeah, this was probably the only silver lining of the show tonight, to say the very least. I mean, this was definitely very good main event. 2.5 to 3, I agree with that. As far as it, I hated the fact that it was a double count out. I hate the way that this thing ended, and I gotta tell you guys, this was a bad show. I mean, you'll get my rating in a little bit, but I will tell you one thing. It's definitely below 5. It's going to be in the below 5 range, where you'll have to wait and see what happens. So, all right, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, that goes double. That's ditto for me, Michael Fletcher. Absolutely, that goes double for me as well, and I'm sure it's going to go triple as Mr. Bullock is.
Well, for me.
Yeah, so Michael Bullock, keep your mic on because you'll be starting off as it's now time for our overall thoughts, our overall review of tonight's Raw. So, Michael Bullock, let's let the bashing begin. We're all in agreement. This was a bad show tonight, but Michael Bullock, you're going to start it off.
This was a horrible show. I mean, this was a very, very bad edition of Monday Night Raw. And forgive me for what I'm about to say. 3 out of 10 is my rating for this edition of Monday Night Raw. I mean, yeah, you had the fight of the night with Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt, and you had some good matches with John Cena and Xavier Woods and that 6-man tag, and I mean, but basically everything else from here on in was, and you had some good segments, but everything else was pretty much blah when it comes to this. And I mean, WWE, you've been spoiling us with good episodes of Raw during the summertime, but you figure once Monday Night Football started and all the fall shows come back, you're like, nah, we're just gonna tank. We're just gonna phone it in. You don't phone it in. This is your competition. You're supposed to make people want to watch. And you really think people are going to watch Monday Night Raw if you're going to give us poor matches and overbooked finishes? No. That's going to make them want to flip the channel and say, you know what? We'd rather watch Monday Night Football. We'd rather watch all those fall TV shows are on. And you had an emergency meeting saying we need to improve? Yeah. How did that meeting work out? Not so good. So WWE, you need to straighten up and start producing good shows, because right now I am very fucking pissed off at what you've been giving us lately, and WWE, you guys are nothing more but a bunch of fucking idiots. So here's my message to you, WWE. Yeah, this is my message to you. So that's it. I'm done. I'm finished. Drops the mic, walks out. Done. Finished. Fletcher, go.
3 out of 10 is tonight's rating. And actually, 411 Mania dropped this one on, and this is what they said. I have said this before, but the show started off so well with Cena and the New Day. Then making it into a tag with the Dudleys, it wasn't great, but it felt good. Make it fun and made sense, and was making sense. I liked it. Then it started going off the cliff until the final minutes. If this was their answer to the declining ratings, it was a horrible one. It is the answer to Monday Night Football. If this is the answer to Monday Night Football, it is a horrible one. But then again, it is September and almost October, which means that Monday Night Raw and WWE gets increasingly lazy. I am sure that I will hear, just wait until January or right around WrestleMania season. But should I care when they booked away, and I have cared or even tried, this show wasn't bad, but felt like for the last 5 hours was being lazy. Had some bad finishes. The crowd was lifeless, and for most of the night, which is very true. And if I had a choice to turn it off, I would have out of boredom. Pour it out, brothers. 3 is the rating for tonight's show. For me personally, WWE's packing it in, and I agree with the guy from 411mania.com. I think what we're seeing is lazy booking, lazy work, and they're half-assing it almost to a certain degree, and it's absolutely, positively deplorable. Because as a true diehard wrestling fan as we are, we expect something better than this. But it looks like they're not even trying right now. I mean, yeah, Mr. McMahon's like, I'm going to put the fear of God into you if you don't do better in the ratings. Well, Vince, whatever type of pep talk or whatever type of thing you were trying to do to put that fear of God, the writers of WWE basically said, Vince, go bleep yourself. This is what we're going to do. At this point, it's like, why? Why do we even care? Why are we doing this show right now if this is what we're going to get? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want to do it, but it's going to come to a point where if this is what we're going to get from Monday Night Raw, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I think we should just boycott Raw. I mean, close up shop of the Wrestling Forum right here, right now, and not do another program as protest to WWE's garbage. Just my feelings and my feelings alone. I know Anthony won't do that. I know Michael Bullock won't do that because we love the fans and everything else, but why do we get punished for sitting here for 3 hours of garbage? It's not worth it. It's not worth our time to do all this to entertain you guys when the show is so lackluster. 3 out of 10? Come on. This has to be at least maybe 6 to 7 in order for us to do something. But the filler, the garbage, and everything that happened, this is just like it's almost as bad as TNA. And I hate to knock on TNA because TNA had a few moments where they were turning the ship around. But it's almost like they were doing this show. Or this felt like an old school WCW Monday Nitro show. Come on. For heaven's sake. I got nothing more to say. I'm done. Mario, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly go as far as to say this was the worst show of the year. This was the worst Monday Night Raw 2015. I mean, yeah. I'm gonna go between 3 and 4 out of 10. You know, do the 4 out of 10. You know, the Bret Hart not impressed thing that that we love so much. But I think it's definitely between 3 and 4. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this was a piss poor show tonight. Dud enhancement matches, NA matches ruled the roost here tonight. Don't get me wrong, there were some moments. I mean, all 3 in-ring segments I thought were really good. The segment with Seth Rollins and Kane and Ashley Osterreider from Human Resources, yeah, that was the segment of the night. And then you had the segment with Paul Heyman and The Big Show, and then the segment with, and then the Miz TV with the Divas. So that pretty much was it on that. Those 3 highlights. And then, of course, as far as in-ring highlights go, as far as matches were concerned, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt and the post-match brawl that followed, far and away was the fight of the night. And then the match with Cena and Xavier Woods, the 6-Diva tag, and the 6-man tag with Cena and the Dudleys against the New Day. Other than those things, everything else sucked. I mean, we had dud enhancement fights ruling the roost. The Big Show against Mark Henry, that was a dud. Randy Orton and Bo Dallas was a dud. And then a very disappointing match with Kevin Owens and Rusev, which could have been something really special if they had given the time to book it, but obviously they were too lazy enough to do that. So, yeah, lazy booking, half-assed booking, indeed, and it's a 3 to 4 out of 10 on my end. A very piss-poor edition of Monday Night Raw, which I can go as far as to say this was the worst show of the year, and I cannot believe, after all those weeks, from like the middle of July into right around the end of August at the start of this month, for a good like 5 to 7 weeks, we were getting spoiled with consistently good pay-per-view quality type Monday Night Raws, and over the last like 3 or 4 weeks now, we have not been getting spoiled. We've been getting thrown under the damn
Back
bus.
to reality.
Back to reality is right, Michael Bullock. It's that, and I hate reality. I loathe and detest reality. I mean, honest to goodness. I mean,
and I hate to say this, Florio, and I'm actually going to agree with Michael Fletcher. I think we should protest the show until they give us a good Monday Night Raw. I mean, what's the reason for to review a done enhancement edition of Monday Night Raw?
well, with all due respect, it is of course to obviously fulfill our commitments and our responsibilities to Derek Ferrera and the producers of this show. That's why. I mean, I'll go down with the ship.
I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that, and I completely understand. But I mean, why bother review a Raw that's piss poor and horrible? And I mean, we need to send a message to WWE that we're not going to take this crap anymore.
And
I think the best way to do it is to cancel the show.
And the thing is, well, don't cancel the show.
Oh, well, I meant protest the show.
I mean, but we can do other wrestling things. If this is the wrestling form, what we used to do back in the day was we used to cover the world of professional wrestling. We just had to find the right stories, the right company. I mean, there are other companies around the world that we can talk about. We could talk about Ring of Honor. We can get into TNA. We can get into other programming. But, I mean, right now, WWE is giving us a pile of junk. And that's not satisfying. And it's not going to do us any services
Yeah, I want to take a dump on WWE right now.
I mean, right now, Monday Night Raw, it's been so lazy with their booking. Even Derek Ferrera was ranting about it tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw it.
So, I mean, we're basically putting our necks on the line, representing the wrestling form, where we always recap and take pride in our work for WWE, but it doesn't look like WWE is giving us any pride, any heart, anything. It's like they're playing like the Miami Dolphins, for God's sakes.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, I could even go as far as to say this, Michael Fletcher. I mean, what we had, what we had tonight was like having to watch the friggin' New England Patriots squash the Jacksonville Jaguars yesterday. That's what it was like to me, if I'm being quite honest with you. And that's exactly.
Or for all you guys out west, 49ers and Cardinals.
Oh, and we had to deal with that too.
Yeah.
Here, we got that game here.
We had that game.
Or watching the Notre Dame Fighting Irish squash UMass.
Which I'll honestly say I enjoyed because I am a Notre Dame fan. Everybody knows that. But
just as much as we were enjoying what Michigan did to BYU. So yeah, it was a squash, but we loved it.
Win-win for all of us, and don't worry, boys. We're going to be talking a lot more about Michigan come Friday night on College Football Friday. I'm going to get more into that in just a moment. But yes, it's a 3 to 4 out of 10 on my end. We're all agreed this is the worst show of the year, and I think what we should do is this. I know you boys want to protest, and rightly so, and I can definitely get behind that. But let's just say it like this. I'll throw it out here and now. Next Monday night, I don't know where they're going to be next Monday night. I think they're going to be here on the East Coast or something. I don't know. But as far as next week is concerned, if next week's show is another piss poor edition of Monday Night Raw, if the show next week is just as bad as tonight's show, or God forbid even worse, then and only then I'll seriously consider your guys' theory. Only then. So let's give it at least one more week, and then if we end up having another show like this next week at this time next week, then and only then we'll have to consider another direction. But with all due respect, of course. So but there you go. That's just basically how we feel about it, and Fletch, I mean, it's hard for me. So, but at the end of the day, though, I mean, these guys have a point. We're diehard professional wrestling fans, and we want to have those great shows we had over the summer. I mean, why couldn't we have had these shows, these piss poor shows during the summer, and then those shows during the summer here and now? You got your biggest threat in Monday Night Football. Yes, I understand there's also the new fall TV shows, Dancing with the Stars, The Voice, The Big Bang Theory, Gotham, Scorpion, and all these other shows and whatnot, and all of that. But come on, guys. Vince, I read a dirt sheet saying that Vince put pressure on the creative team. Well, obviously he didn't put enough pressure on them. That's all there is to say about that. So they obviously were like, shit. I think we all remember that infamous meme from Mimi Jean when we had those monkeys as the creative team. That's probably who ran the show tonight. Either a bunch of monkeys or a bunch of 6-year-olds. That's who obviously wrote this show here tonight. So the three of us, let me just say it like this: the three of us together, Fletch, Bullock, and myself, we could put together a much better version of Monday Night Raw than what those Dinkelbergs put forth before us tonight. So yeah, way to Dinkelberg us, man. That's all there is on that. So. All right. Now that I got that off my chest, which it felt pretty damn good to do, we're gonna put the bow on this edition of Monday Night Raw, mercifully. So with that said, Of course, it's time for our shout-outs. Of course, Bullet starts it, and then Fletcher, and then I'll set the table for the future content. But before I do that, guys, availability for Friday night, College Football Friday, gentlemen.
In.
You're in, Bullet. How about you, Fletch?
In.
All right. Not sure about Derek. Hopefully he'll be in, but I know it's probably a long shot at this point because he's on a part-time basis, which is understandable because of the sports blog, which is really taking off. So, all right, Michael Bullock, let's start it off with your shout-outs now.
All right, we thank you all so very much for listening to us for another edition of the Wrestling Forum, and we thank you all for putting up with our rants that we had tonight on this '4 edition of Monday Night Raw. But as we said, it's to entertain you folks, and that's what we like doing. So so shout out to all of our great fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or Strictly Sports. Of course, shout outs to our super fans, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, and Jason Hixenbaugh. Of course, shout outs to our friends from our high school days, Al Britterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaisa Butler, to the Hardcore Pipeline himself, Derek Ferreira. Of course, being the social media ambassador and continuing his major success with the sports blog, and it's definitely been taking off with what he's done with some of the things he's written on the sports blog, and definitely worth checking out. So that's gonna do it for me. I'll save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night on Strictly Sports College Football Friday. So until then, this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement saying thank you all so much for listening to us. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. And of course, God bless and be good to each other. So basically, that's it. So Fletcher, I give it to you with your shout-outs.
Thank you so much, Mike Bullock. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there who watched the Strictly Wrestling Forum tonight. Sorry, I got something in the throat. We truly appreciate it, as always. You guys are the best. To the super fans, you guys know who you guys are. Thank you to my friends in the junior high and high school days. You guys know who you guys are. To all the sports personalities, you guys know who you guys are. To the 2184 crew, much love to you guys. To a special happy birthday to Bianca Cardone, who is actually a major, she loves actually WWE, a big wrestling fan in her day, and is actually a member of that Miami Dolphin coalition that you talk about, Anthony Florio. You said that she's one of the Miami Dolphins brothers or sisters of that coalition that you always talk about, are always mentioned in once in a rare while, but she is one of them. Not only that, but I also want to show some love as well, because I actually have two birthdays that is actually very, very near and dear to my heart. Two friends that I am very close with, that I'll say is really cool for me. So I just want to say happy birthday to my boy Jimmy Silva, and also a special happy birthday to a member of our junior high, to our junior high and high school crew, Victoria Dela Cruz. So happy birthday to you two guys. Love you guys. Much love to you. And that's it. So until Friday night, it's Mike Fletcher. You know the routine. Hustle Hand Pounds. We out. Good night. And Floyo, take it home.
All right, we'll do indeed, Michael Fletcher. Of course, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in to this edition of the Wrestling Forum, and also for putting up with our rants tonight. We had to get that off our chests. So, but anywho, of course, special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to support, whether it is Strictly Sports or the Wrestling Forum. It is very much appreciated as always. You are the best fans in the world, of course. Special shout-outs to our super fans, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hixenbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, and Megan Silva, Kaiser Butler, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Alvaredoson, and Rob Parsons. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, our hardcore pipe bomb, Derek Ferreira. Hopefully we'll have him back on the show pretty soon, and I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night. And on Friday night, tune in right back here on the Tone 25 once again Friday night for another installment of Strictly Sports College Football Friday. It is week 5 of the college football season, and well, 18 games are on the docket as far as I am looking at right now. And well, I remember when I said we had only, like, I believe 3 headliners? Well, we actually have a lot more. We actually have, I believe, 5 or 6 headliners now. You already know about Notre Dame against Clemson. You already know about Alabama against Maiden, Georgia. And you also know about Arizona against Stanford. But wait, gentlemen, there are more headliners, such as, how about West Virginia against Oklahoma? There's another headliner. I'll even throw in Ole Miss against Florida. That's a relevant game again. And Mississippi State against Texas A&M. There's another headliner. And fellas, much to your delight, we're going to be talking Michigan because, boys, your Michigan boys have been ranked. Michigan is ranked in the polls. They're number 22. We're going to talk about their game against Maryland on Saturday night as well. So, well, they play Saturday night. I mean, so you know what I mean. So, of course, Friday night, College Football Friday, the 3 of us will be back. Hopefully, Derek will be with us as well. We'll see about that. And then, of course, Saturday night, NFL Saturday. Not sure how that's going to go because, these two guys like to, prance about on the town on Saturday nights and whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure we'll get that all worked out eventually. And then, of course, next Monday night for the Wrestling Forum. And should be very interesting to see what happens with Raw because if it's another bad show, well, let's just say hard times could be on the way. So, all right. That's going to put the bow on this. So until Friday night for Strictly Sports College Football Friday, ridiculously over Anthony Floyer here, along for the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Hardcore Python, Derek Ferreira, saying, the routine, everybody, thumbs up, talk to you later, yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. And bye for now, my friends, and enjoy, have a great rest of the week, everybody, and until Friday night for College Football Friday, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com as always. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And for now, Anthony Florio. So long.